thank you. For the benefit of those listening on the live stream, we've just had appearances announced on behalf of all parties, and I'm going to repeat my acknowledgement. As we return to this inquest of Kumanjayi Walker, I acknowledge that today we sit on the traditional lands of the Aranda people, and I pay my respects to the elders past and present. I also wish to acknowledge all Aboriginal persons here today, both inside and outside this courtroom, and those following on the live stream. You are welcome. Your participation in these proceedings is important and it is appreciated. Sergeant Bowens is sitting in the witness box. Sergeant, we just have a couple of matters we need to deal with first. Sorry about delaying you further. The first matter that I need to deal with are notes that Mr. Rolfe had in the witness box on the last occasion. I've handed down a ruling number 10, in relation to those notes, but there have been some further calls for parties seeking access to the notes, so I'll address that now. Sorry, Mr. Abbott, we've had written submissions.
Could I just have an indication from Mr. Abbott as to how long that will take? I haven't been told that there is going to be any oral submissions, and obviously it's imperative that to the extent possible we finish within these 3 days. So could I just have an indication from Mr. Abbott as to the time it will take to make these oral submissions when a written timetable was specifically set so that we could deal with this issue?
You may have an opportunity. The question is, how long is it going to take us to do that? Would there be an opportunity to reduce them to writing, Mr. Abbott?
Your Honour, is one suggestion that we deal with it orally, but straight after Sergeant Bowens, so that we don't keep Sergeant Bowens waiting in the witness box any longer than is necessary.
That would be then convenient. Thanks, Mr. Abbott. Sergeant Bowens, thanks for making yourself available again. Do you promise to tell the truth to the court?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sergeant Bowens, you gave evidence on the 27th and 23rd of February this year, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
And you're aware that Mr. Rolfe gave evidence some days later on the 26th?
That's correct.
From the 26th of February, is that right?
Yes.
All right. And had you had a conversation or conversations with Mr. Rolfe prior to giving your evidence on the 22nd of February about the evidence that either you or he would give?
I've had many conversations with Mr. Rolfe preceding my evidence.
Okay. And did he tell you prior to commencing your evidence on the 22nd of February anything about what he was going to say in evidence?
He indicated to me that he was going to expose some truths of what he knew, so yes.
Okay. And what were those truths?
Didn't know.
Okay. So he didn't tell you anything about the truths themselves, he just used the expression truths.
Correct.
Did he say to you that he was going to say anything about the TRG or what?
No.
Not directly?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
I was under the impression that he was not going to mention this.
Okay. That's the position as it stood on the 22nd of February of this year. You didn't know that he was going to give evidence about the TRG awards, correct?
Correct. I was not the impression he was going to use them.
You were in the TRG, after you gave evidence from the 26th of February, evidence has emerged regarding the annual award ceremony held by the TRG. You're familiar with that evidence?
Yes.
Okay. You were in the TRG from 2004 to 2014, correct?
Correct.
So a period of a decade.
Yes.
What date did you leave the TRG in 2014?
October.
Okay, end of the year.
Excuse me.
Between 2004 and 2014, you attended on a number of occasions the annual award ceremony, did you not?
That's correct.
Okay, tell us about the award ceremony, please.
The awards were, or the ceremony was a yearly award, yearly celebrations at TRG. They formed one of three parties, which I said in my statement: families, family function, members function, and a wives function.
Was it at the members' function that awards like the Nugada Award were awarded?
Correct.
Okay. And where were those functions held?
TRG office.
Okay. Colloquially known as the cave?
Correct.
Okay. And what's the, where is that? Where is the cave?
Berrima.
Okay. Is that the Pennycourt Centre?
Correct.
Okay. So that is the official TRG headquarters?
Yes.
Okay. And who attended the annual award ceremony?
The section.
Okay. It was an expectation that members in the section attended.
Not an expectation, but you're free to turn up if you want to, but most of the section turn up.
Okay. Your evidence is that it might not have been a formal expectation, but most, if not everyone, turned up.
It was, it was well. Most people turned up.
And while I'm not asking you to say that you were there every year without exception, do you accept that you would have been present most years between 2004 and 2014?
Yeah, that's correct.
Who presented your awards?
The awards were presented by Sergeant at the time.
And this was the officer in charge of the TRG?
It's not generally the officer in charge, but it could be the sergeant.
Okay. So not the commander of the unit, but someone in a position of authority?
From my memory is vague. Generally, it was handed down to one of the sergeants who would do it.
Can you explain the format of the presentation for us? Where was everyone standing? What were people saying? How were the awards presented? That sort of thing?
It was probably not dissimilar to, this office changed in our time, but initially it was not dissimilar to a desk that you've got there with the members all behind a desk, and it would have been at the end of the desk, the members would have been, the sergeant would have been there and presenting the awards, and it was our old equipment room where we stored our kit, and then it may have gone to another room.
How many people were in the TRG, just approximately?
There would be, I think we had about 25 members and 5 sergeants, and then the LICs. And so.
And can you recall whether a PowerPoint was ever used during the presentation of the awards?
I don't think we're that organised, so I really can't remember any specific PowerPoints.
So is there evidence that you can't remember either way, but you think probably not?
I can't recall a PowerPoint being used, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
What was the general vibe in the room? Lighthearted, end of the year, people decompressing, that sort of thing?
Absolutely.
Was there ever serious conversation or debate about the appropriateness of any of the awards?
No, they were all just taken on face value and really didn't think about too much about them.
It was a bit of fun.
That's correct.
Tell us about the Nugada Award, please.
From my knowledge, I believe it started in 2006. and it came about from a search in Malaura. One of the members who was on the search for approximately 2 weeks displayed some fairly average hygiene characteristics, and basically was named up. Well, that was the instigator of the award, I would say.
It was an award for outstanding lack of excellence. Is that correct?
It's that was an extra way to describe it. Correct. It was one of the terms used.
And you've made reference to the first of many Nugget awards, which was awarded to someone for an outstanding lack of hygiene. But in what other ways might a member of the TRG demonstrate an outstanding lack of excellence so as to be recognised with the award of the Nugget Award?
Yeah, the Nugget was pretty broad. It could be anything. It could an operational error, a personal stuff up, just something that was funny within the section. It really had no sort of broad. It really had no boundaries, and it could sort of cover everything and anything.
Lack of hygiene was one, correct?
Well, that was what instigated it. And
Drinking was one, correct?
correct.
Dishonesty was one, correct?
Well, I wouldn't say dishonesty. It could be anything.
Any disreputable or discreditable behaviour?
Generally funny stuff,
Okay.
not sort of integrity, I would say.
But funny precisely because people were demonstrating an outstanding lack of excellence.
That was the term used,
Okay.
correct.
The name of the award was Nugget. Where does that name come from?
Well, I have no idea.
It was apparent to you, wasn't it, that name sounded like, or at least, well, sounded like a made-up Aboriginal word.
Yeah, could be.
Ever give any thought to where the word had come from?
No, I know it wasn't Indigenous word used, 'cause I've never heard of it.
I want to be clear about that. It wasn't a real Indigenous word, but your evidence a moment ago was that you knew that it sounded like a made-up Indigenous word.
Correct.
Okay. And was that the joke, that it was the name itself poked fun at Indigenous people or Indigenous languages?
No, I wouldn't say that. It sort of poked fun at the members, but the reference, that word was used as a reference, and it was a made-up word.
Okay. So in poking fun at the members, the word Nugget didn't draw a connection between the members' outstanding lack of excellence and Aboriginal people.
There was no link of, well, I can't speak for every single award, but generally there was no link going, oh, we have to link it to an Indigenous person, that award. It was more about the behaviour of the person, of the TRG member, but it just had that name
Okay.
as a reference.
Coincidence.
Well, it's not coincidence, it was just, that's why it was named. Mainly because probably how it started, like I said, in 2006 from the hygiene level.
Just, I really want to understand you, Sergeant.
I didn't
You say
know
that, I'm trying to understand what you understood as a member who was in the TRG for 10 years. You say it started because someone had demonstrated an outstanding lack of hygiene. The name chosen for the award was a made-up Indigenous name. What was the connection in your mind between a lack of hygiene and Aboriginality?
Well, that is the link, that some Indigenous have poor hygiene, so that was the link.
That is why, isn't it?
Sorry?
That's why the award was called the Coon of the Year Award, or Award for the Most Coon-like Behaviour.
It was referenced, that's like I said in my statement. From my memory, it was never referred to as, or written down as that, but if it was described, that was one of the terms used to describe the award. So,
Okay, so you say that the terms Coon of the Year and Most Coon-like Behaviour were never written down,
At the time I wrote the statement, that was my belief. I've obviously seen things which changed that.
But you've also said that the name was used openly.
Which word?
Could.
No.
So is your evidence that within the TRG, people didn't openly refer to the Nugget Award as the Coon of the Year Award or the award for most coon-like behaviour?
It would have been only that once a year when we had the awards. It wasn't a daily thing, or it wasn't a term reference at all. It was it's just that one time a year, I guess, that would be mentioned.
Okay, but you are accepting that at the awards ceremony, the members of the TRG there assembled to celebrate the award of the Nugget would refer to the award openly as the Coon of the Year.
It had that reference, yes.
Okay. And it had that reference from 2014 until you left in 2004 until you left in 2014, correct?
I can't say for sure. I can't remember every single award ceremony. And the awards change from year to year depending who were doing them. So I can't say if it's continued on for that long. And I can't say when it finished or so without any accuracy. I know I did for the first couple of years, but I can't say for sure how long it continued on.
Given that you can't say for sure, why is it that you distinguish between the first couple of years and...
Well, that was where I've seen evidence that it was, and from the instigator from 2006, I know how it started, but the rest of the years I have no knowledge of because I can't remember them. So I may be wrong, but like I said, that's from my memory.
Let's assume for a moment that there are no such records. Why would the link between lack of hygiene, drinking, other discreditable behaviour and Aboriginal people be broken if the name of the award remained a made-up Aboriginal word?
Well, when the section goes through, we have many people coming in and out of the section and things change, and definitions and terminology changes, and the section changes. So just because it started in 2012 doesn't mean it goes through to 14, 20, whatever.
You were present for much of Mr. Rolfe's evidence, were you not?
Correct.
Did you hear him say that the Nugget was still known by rank and file police officers, that is, police officers who worked in the TRG? It was notorious for being known as the Coon of the Year for most coon-like behaviour.
I don't have any evidence that is correct.
Would it surprise you?
I wouldn't be surprised if other people knew about it, for sure.
Help us to understand. You've said that the awards were about a bit of light-hearted fun and poking fun at the TRG members.
Correct.
So they were jokes.
They were jokes.
Can you explain how the joke works? What's the link between outstanding lack of excellence and Aboriginal people?
The joke obviously is not a joke that everybody would associate with. We all do different things and we all work in different fields. It's probably what we refer to as dark humour.
Dark humour is
Sorry?
I thought it was staff humour, but dark humour.
Daft. Yeah, probably a bit of both.
What was it? Daft.
Dark. D-A-R-K. Dark.
Correct. It's where we find things which are offensive. We see the funny side of it. Things that are unpleasant, things which most people would not deal with. We pull the funny side out of it. It's obviously not appropriate, but it's one aspect of dealing with it.
So a lack of hygiene, not nice but funny, and you can poke fun at members
It was-
of the TRG about it.
That was the reference. That was the link at that early stage point.
Why did Aboriginal people have to be the butt of the job?
Well, Aboriginal people is all the people we deal with. That's how complete work, 99%. So we had no really. When you're in a working environment and you have one thing that you deal with, it's falls in human nature. That's they're a big part of our lives in every aspect, good and bad. And it's just, I think it.
What part of the annual award ceremony is celebrated in a positive way? The TRG members could have qualities.
Positive way. Well, I have very little knowledge of the awards. They were started 18 years ago. We consumed large amounts of alcohol. I have a knowledge of the awards that I've got. I do not have any knowledge of everybody else's awards, what they got.
Which awards, when were you nominated for or awarded the Nugget Award?
I believe it was in 2012,
And that's the only occasion that you say you were nominated?
from my memory. That's the only ones I've found.
Can we please have a document? You were in the TRG in 2007, correct?
Correct.
Can you recall being nominated for the Nugget Award in 2007?
Through the award that I've seen, yes, I can recall that one. I don't recall the exact 2007, but I have the award.
You were in fact the runner-up for the Nugget Award in 2007, do you recall that?
Correct.
Your nickname is Burner.
Correct.
Can we please have page 3 of that document? Oh, sorry, page 2. And if we could zoom in slightly. I might read that to you. The unredacted part of the page records the runner-up, the 2007 Nugget /Outstanding Lack of Excellence Award as Burner, and describes the award in these terms. On the job at Litchfield Court Nightcliff after 3 hours in full kit, having worked up a bit of a sweat, Burner refused to have a shower and went home and climbed into bed with the missus in the same state. Couldn't understand why she gave him a knockback when he got all amorous. Can you recall being given that award? Sorry, being nominated for that award? No.
Right.
You accept, don't you, that a very negative connection is being drawn between your behaviour, unhygienic, potentially sexually inappropriate, and Aboriginal people in general?
I think the link's pretty weak. It's like what I read of that is having a go at, obviously, me. The only link would be that it's a Nugget, and the link is what we've already spoken about.
Well, let's not beat around the bush. The link is that you were the runner-up for the award for most coon-like behaviour.
Your
But
Honour,
it doesn't say
Your
that
Honour,
there.
this is the recipient of the award, not the awarder of the award. He received it. I think these questions should be really put to the person who awarded it. How can he have in his mind this link?
Because he knew about the award like everybody anybody else in the TRG.
Well, that's been
Clearly
established.
a lot of people throughout the Northern Territory Police Force even to this day. So I'm going to allow the questions. I don't know how much further you can
Because it's
take
already
this.
been established.
Yes.
Now, your evidence is that at this point in time, 2007, there wasn't a clear connection in your mind between the Nougata Award and connections with Aboriginality.
What I'm saying is that when I read that and that award, I don't really associate that with Aboriginal people. I know the Nougata has that initial link that we spoke about, but that, to me, was, like I said, the award started with that, but then it just progressed into having a go at each other.
So by this
and we
point-
didn't sit there and go, oh yes, that's
Racist.
racist or part of an Aboriginal thing. It's, obviously, you read that, has no real links to.
So it started with that link, but by this point it had developed, and it was about general discredit.
It was called that, but yes, it was. You're right. Perception is right.
Okay. Can we please have page 6 of the same document? Perhaps we can zoom out slightly. So, this was the winner that very year of the Shit Barbecue Award. You can scroll down slightly. The caption is the most cool-like barbecue ever. Do you wish to revisit the answer you just gave about the link between racism and the Nougata Award?
Yeah, I mentioned that the awards did have reference at the beginning, and they did have reference, but it didn't apply to all the awards. I said it developed from it was a award for everything and anything, and obviously some, like that one, obviously is, but
But not the Nougata at this point.
the Nougata was an award like you see there, but it started from having the links, but then it would go for everything and anything. I guess the link faded. I think my example is probably an example of it's fading, while some of them obviously didn't. So the awards were had to look at each award, I guess. And
Can we have the next page, please? So, this is the award given to a member of the TRG who beat you by 1 in 2007. It was awarded for the person who expressed their utmost level of Aboriginality while being an elite member of the TRS, Manuel Hard. Are you seriously suggesting that when
No.
you were identified as the runner-up for the Nougata in 2007, it wasn't abundantly clear in your mind that you were being compared in a way to Aboriginal culture?
the award I got in 2007 was where I jumped off the car.
I'm not asking you about the award you
Yeah.
got.
I'm
asking
not arguing with you. The awards, we all agree that the Nougata has Aboriginal and links to that, and it's been proven. I'm not arguing about that.
I'm not arguing now. I wasn't sure whether we were having an argument a moment ago. But are you accepting that
I'm just saying all the awards were
overtly racist?
that 100% yes.
In 2012, you won the Nougata Award, is that correct?
12. No, I think I was runner up.
Okay, can we please have document 5? Which is exhibit 28 for the record.
Hang on.
Perhaps we can scroll down, please. this was the award presented to you in 2012.
Correct.
Outstanding mark of excellence in cooking sausages.
Yep.
Can you explain the context to the court behind these images?
Firstly, that's not my body. So that's, I think, as I said in my statement, background to that award was we were on a tasking in Alice Springs, and we were staying in an accommodation. The last night we'd had a lot of drinks. I returned back to the motel room, cooked some sausages. I think I fell asleep. The receptionist had to go and find out, make some inquiries, and that was basically, there's no smoke alarms or anything like that. It was all, like I said in the statement, it was all pretty low rent and embellished, as most of the awards were.
And I think in your statement you say that, look, by this time there was no connection with Aboriginal people. Part of this joke was Jamie Mullen.
Not part of the joke with Jamie Oliver. I referenced that award, that while the name and the history of it does have that, there was no link in my mind to Indigenous persons for that award.
Can we please have document 4? That is the award that was given to the Nugget.
Oh, that's for the, yes.
And perhaps take it from me, but the bottommost plaque on that stick bears your name.
I don't think it does.
I see.
Was that 2012 was the, was I the winner on that one or was it runner-up? I can't recall now. Only the winners went on that.
Perhaps if you can scroll down slightly. No, if you just scroll down on this image. Thanks. 2012, Lee, Jamie Oliver Dale.
Oh, I must have won it. 2012.
Can you just explain your last answer to? You say there is no persisting link at this point in time for the Nugget Award and generalisations about Aboriginal people, and yet the award you received was a traditional Aboriginal replica of some kind with a plaque with your name on it.
For sure. I'm talking about the actual issuing the award. And I've made mention that yes, it started off, and I don't know how long it went for, but the initial award started off having Indigenous connections, including the club. But as the awards went, the reason why we gave the awards were not, even though the name had, as we've discussed, had the links and was inappropriate and everything, the actual, what the awards were given for were separate and really weren't linked to the Indigenous people.
So at this point in time, the award was no longer about recognising the TRG members' display of Aboriginality.
It could have been, but each award was different. I can't speak for all the awards.
Well, you keep saying that each award was different. We've gone through a few now. You seem to be conceding that each of them was racist.
I'm talking about my awards. Okay. They're the only ones I already know about. Apart from those ones you've shown me.
Were you present on almost every occasion for these ceremonies?
Correct. 18 years ago and intoxicated. I can't remember the awards.
Well, the last award ceremony you attended was in 2014.
No, 2013. I left in 2014.
October 2014.
These are in December 2014.
Okay. Will we please have document 6? Now, the date of this email is 9 December 2014. You were no longer in the TRG, is that correct?
Correct.
Neil Mellon, senior member of the TRG.
Correct.
You agree with me that the award on the 9th of December 2014 is calling for nominations for the internal 2014 TRG Awards?
Yeah. Zoom it up a bit more. Yeah, with that.
And you can agree that it then says the categories are, there are 4 categories, and the final category is Nougata Award, best effort in displaying one's Aboriginality.
That's correct.
We agree that there's a very close racist association between the awards.
Yeah, like I've said before that the award and the links are there, but what I'm trying to make, I guess, is the individual awards. Some of them weren't on the basis of any interactions or any dealings with the Indigenous person. I understand what you're saying is that the award itself and the club and everything has racial implications, but there is a difference between what the awards are actually issued for. Some of them, as we've seen, fill the criteria that you are establishing, but some of them, I believe, are not.
Equally, can we please have document 7? Could you please scroll to the final page of this document? You've seen this document before?
I've only just seen it recently.
During preparation for these sittings of the inquest?
Yes, I think it may be even leaked to the media or something. I've seen that one.
That is an overtly racist image, is it not?
It's a member dressed up as a black and white minstrel, which is fairly inappropriate these days.
It's blackface.
Yeah, black minstrel. It's a minstrel look. So, well, that's my take of it, but yes, blackface.
Is blackface racist?
I don't know, is it?
Well, we're trying to understand. You were the sergeant of the IRT. You were responsible on your evidence, do you agree, for establishing the culture and mentoring members of the IRT. Do you agree with that?
With respect, he wasn't there in 2015.
He's being asked more generally about his understanding of what is and is not racism, and this is an example.
But
And he's being asked about it.
Your Honour, doesn't it speak for itself?
Well, we're trying to understand members of the police force in positions of leadership, what their understanding is.
What their understanding is of events that took place after they'd left.
It's obviously information that was available about this award throughout the force. He'd only recently left. I assume he still had some connections and information about what was happening, but it's more now directed at his understanding of what racism is and his attitude towards it.
Yes, but can I then just understand, Your Honour has just said that this was known throughout the force.
Well, that's the
That's what you
evidence
Okay.
that we've had. I'm not sure how widely it was known, but it was obviously known wider on the evidence before this inquest than simply within the TRG.
But you've said throughout the force.
Well, I don't know that. It is wider than the TRG, is all I can actually say, Mr. Sutner, based on the evidence before me.
That's right.
And it was certainly known to your client who left the TRG and went to other areas as a serving police officer and sergeant in the Northern Territory Police.
Is blackface racist?
You have to put it in context. I really don't know anymore. It's depending on the context that it's put in, dressing up and things. I'm not too sure. I've only seen that award. I have no idea of the background of it. It'd be very easy to say, yes, I agree, it's totally racist, but I really don't know much about it. He has got a black face, but it's more of a, it's like it duplicates the, like I said, the minister was from America years ago, but, and I don't know the background of the award, but I'm only being honest, it'll be easy to say it was racist, but I don't know.
Let me put it in context for you. This is an award that was historically given for an outstanding lack of excellence.
I agree. You mentioned the Nugget. I think we all know that the Nugget award is racist.
Okay.
If that's the reference between the blackface and Nugget, then that is the link that you're going for, and I say yes, it is racist. And I understand that it is.
In February, you were examined about your use of racist language. Use the word racist in quotation marks because I understand you don't say it was racist, but you know what I'm talking about.
I don't accept it's racist. What?
I asked you some questions about whether or not you freely used racist language in the Alice Springs police station.
Correct. Oh, I don't remember, but no, that's right.
And I then asked you some questions about your use of the word coon in your texts to Rolf, Mr. Rolf.
You did ask me that, yes.
Can you please have document 1 while that's loading? You recall that on the 22nd of February I asked you about a text message you sent to Zach Rolf in July 2019 in which you said, quote, these bush coons aren't used to people going after them. You recall me asking you?
Yes, I do
about
recall.
that? You recall I said that was in effect your opportunity to provide any comment you wanted to make in relation to the text message?
I don't remember the exact conversation, but that's on the record.
Do you recall saying, I have absolutely no memory or recollection of that comment whatsoever. It's not something I say. I don't like the term. It's not who I am, but it's there. I have to accept it, but it is completely foreign. Do you recall that as well?
Correct.
The word coon was in no way foreign to you on the 22nd of February 2024, was it, Sergeant?
24?
That's right.
Yes, it was. You have to define. I knew the word, but it's not a word I used. So it was foreign to me, and I don't use it.
You were a part of an elite section of the Northern Territory Police Force for 10 years that awarded annually the Coon of the Year award.
We've discussed that. Correct, and that is the past, and that did happen. But that does not mean that I go to use that word daily. And
Your evidence was it's completely foreign to me.
it is foreign. When I came to Alice Springs from Darwin, I left that area behind, and I started at Alice Springs. And the reasons I started in Alice Springs was to make a difference down here and provide capability, which I did. I was very conscious of terminology, words, anything, behaviour. I was coming down here as a sergeant. So I was extremely careful what I said, what I did. I understood my role. So I do not have any knowledge of that word, as I said before. It's not a word I use. It's hard to explain because it goes beyond not just remembering. It goes that I would never use that to a junior member. I don't even use it to people that I've known for many, many years. So while in TRG it was used and we did have awards for it, it doesn't mean I carry with it me for life and I continue to use it. So I was truthful when I said it's foreign to me. I don't use it.
why wasn't that long qualification? That for 10 years it was completely foreign to you, you had no difficulty with it, you never raised a concern with your superiors in the TRG. 2014 you leave, suddenly it's foreign to you. Why didn't you tell her on that that was the context in which you used the word in 2009?
Some respects I should have, but my reasons for not mentioning it, it was in the past. It was, as we are now, it's 18 years ago and on. I believe it had no effect of what we were investigating here. I also believed that it would have a detrimental effect on the police force. I also believe that would have a detrimental effect on the police members and the way they did their job and how they were treated. And I honestly believe that it would cause conflict within the community. When I speak of conflict, it only means one of two things: violence and people being locked up. And I don't believe that was the way forward.
So when you are asked questions on this inquest, direct questions including the used language before, instead of giving truthful answers, you decide whether, in your subjective view, it's in the public interest for you to give truthful answers.
I don't recall the exact questions you answered me, but I should have mentioned...
Oh, Your Honour, before the witness says anything further, I ask that he be advised of the risk of his incriminating himself further.
There is obviously a prospect, Your Honour, I'm putting it to the witness that he's liable to oath.
Well, Your Honour, can we just look at what is actually going on here? First of all, we've killed this issue to death. We've killed this issue to death. Sorry. No, fair enough. But secondly,
I think Mr. Coleridge wants to proceed and ask further questions, and I'm not sure what those questions are, or how relevant they're going to be. We haven't heard the questions, so I can't rule on them yet, but I can give you an opportunity to speak to your client.
well, can I just make one sentence submission, and that is the questions were put to Sergeant Bowens in the context of what I would call the offending text message. That message had been dealt with over and over and over again in relation to other policemen before Sergeant Bowens got in the witness box. That was the focus, that was where his intention was. Now, you may also recall that Mr. Coleridge examined him, and then over objection, you allowed him to examine again. We're now having something which suggests he's lying. I'm indebted to Mr. Freckleton, so I may say Dr. Freckleton, for raising the question, and I do object to him being asked questions that may incriminate him.
Well, I'm going to briefly adjourn so you can speak to your client about his rights,
Yes.
and then we'll return. How much time? Is 5 minutes sufficient? Do you need longer than 5 minutes?
Give me 10 minutes, because
10
it
minutes.
takes 5 minutes to get in and out of the court.
10 minutes.
Yes. I'm turning away because that's not going to get you. No, I know that. Thank you very much. Lee,